Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Haugh. That is where Take the North is originating from today. And as usual, along with Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune and a frequent score contributor, we are here, as it says up on the board in the media room. It says, Dan, welcome to phase one. That's what it is here for the Chicago Bears as they get ready to have organized team activities as they have been having here.
Yeah, it's a new era here. It's an opportunity for these guys to come in the building, get acclimated with their new head coach and their new coaching staff, get in the weight room, start to get things going. The real meaningful on-field work won't be happening here for several weeks, and then even that will be pretty moderate. But we are off and running on the Ben Johnson era, and I think you heard some of that today from the long list of players we were able to talk to today.
Yeah, it was a good day in terms of players today. We got to talk to some of the marquee guys, including Caleb Williams, from whom we will hear in just a little bit. Darnell Wright was speaking. Jaylon Johnson was front and center.
Yes.
Shockingly enough, we have multiple cuts from Jaylon Johnson that we will share with you. And I thought some of Tremaine Edmonds' comments were interesting as well. So a bunch of core Bears speaking today. So we'll get their opinions on things. I think on the overall today, and just so people know, we had media access today. So we got to talk to those players. We didn't get to watch anything where we don't get to find out about schemes or anything like that this early on. So this is still more a lot of get to know you, how they're going to act in this regime, what Ben Johnson's plan will be, how Ben is affecting the players already. And I'll say this, Dan, the theme that we heard from the players, especially from Jaylen Johnson and Tremaine Edmonds, that this team can win. And this team can win now. And in Jaylen Johnson's case, and we'll get to it, the win by a lot. Because the goal is to not just win after a season in which you lost 10 straight games, but they're talking about dominating people. I don't know if it's too early to do that. I mean, it seemed like it hit me strange today. And I had a couple of follow-ups in that regard. This is a team that lost 10 in a row last year. I understand the improvements that are made, but they're not only talking about winning and turning it around, but dominating.
We'll get to one of my offseason requests here in a few minutes because it corresponds with some of the audio that you have queued up for us. I think you could kind of break today almost into three pieces, the pieces of the pie into three pieces. One of them was Ben Johnson's here. What did he say? The next one was Caleb Williams. Hey, what's new with you? And the third one was, oh yeah, there's a defense here, right? Like, and so I think that was kind of the themes of the day, and we can kind of bounce back and forth between those three themes. But you certainly sense predictably, but still notably, the energy that's here in the building. It's always here in April. Everybody always feels good in April. But certainly the arrival of this new head coach and this coaching staff has given this group a jolt for now. And what it means, we'll see. How long it lasts, we'll see. But there's a jolt, and we're going to document the jolt.
And I know you love a good jolt, Dan. Did you feel the jolt today? Did you feel their energy, or is it too early for you to feel the Dan Wiederer energy, the jolt, as you said?
Well, you heard me last week expressing my own jolt down at the owners' meetings in Florida and feeling some of the energy that I felt from Ben Johnson, and so I can relate to what the players are feeling for the first time hearing him speak in the front of the room. And now, listen, like I said, with that, I will add my footnote to that after we hear a little bit from some of these players, because again, I have a very specific offseason request to make when we're done with all the others.
Okay, that said, why don't we let the sound take us through here in this part of the Take the North podcast, and let's get to it. I have in my hands here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts. I think even though Caleb Williams, I didn't get a whole lot out of what Caleb Williams spoke about today, but I thought the most important part, and we could talk about everything he said, but I thought one of the more important pieces of his presser today was being asked about playing under center, which is a big deal. That is the way Ben Johnson, that is the way he sees things initially for Caleb Williams, and he was asked about the process that goes with that.
It's the whole thing. It's working, getting up to the line, and it's like visualizing, like getting up to the line, saying the cadence, being under center, controlling those things, going over the routes, concepts, the footwork in your head. in the offseason so that, when those times hit and, it's fourth quarter and, you can't think about those things and you can't focus on those things. It's second nature, second habit, first nature, first habit of doing that, and getting under there and, going through the cadence, going through the huddle sequence, getting up to the line, making checks if needed or anything like that. So, it's practicing those things now, visualizing those things now, and building on those.
Do you get a sense for how Ben is going to push you out of your comfort zone as a coach?
Yeah. Today we had our first quiz in the QB room, and it's not like a real quiz where you go up and write stuff. It's just us. We went over a few things yesterday, talked about a few things, and Ben walked in this morning, flung open the door, made a grand entrance, and then we got to work of him testing us about what we talked about yesterday and things like that. So already first day in and challenging us, and everybody loves a challenge in this sport. It's one of the great things about the sport. Every day is a challenge, and today we got our first one.
It's a long way to go for Caleb on this one. I mean, I love the way he's talking about Ben Johnson, but it's so early in this process, a process that I think will work, but we don't know, and we're going to see if Ben Johnson sticks to his word on if it doesn't look right, we switch out of it, but it is so early.
Kudos to Caleb Williams for understanding how to tell a good story, right? He gives you the visual of Ben Johnson flinging the door open into the room and standing with his chest puffed and, really putting the quarterbacks through their first detailed quiz under his watch here at Haugh Hall. I think we all understand that those quizzes are going to be ongoing. There seems to be an acknowledgement from Caleb that he understands how important the relationship is between he and Ben Johnson. Notable to me that he likened it to his early days with Lincoln Riley when he got to Oklahoma in 2021 and basically saying, look, I feel like I've got a good sense about me to know when I'm vibing with someone, and he feels like he's vibing with Ben Johnson. It's April 8th, 2025. Vibes can die out rather quickly when the results don't follow, but I think these two are really eager to get to working with one another because Caleb has been very public in saying, look, I want to be pushed, and Ben Johnson has been very public in saying, I'm here to push Caleb Williams. And so that process begins, and as you mentioned, it begins with that focus on the under center work, with Ben understanding that his offense can be at its most potent when you're marrying an under center running game with an under center passing game that allows play action to open up in the way it does.
Exactly. And I am not so much worried about vibes as I am what I know about Caleb Williams, and that is he has a tremendous amount of respect for Ben Johnson. I mean, I think that these two have been admiring each other, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, from afar for a while. I mean, they've both basically said that. So as long as Caleb Williams respects this man as much as it seems he does, he will do what Ben needs him to do. And yeah, the vibes are important as well. But I look, maybe I'm sounding a little jaded, but Dan, you've been on this beat longer than I. We hear this in every coach quarterback regime. Remember Matt Nagy? Yeah, we both like Matt Nagy, but man, he hit us over the head with that relationship with Mitch Trubisky. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and then, so somebody had to take care of Justin Fields as well. And that growing relationship, but I guess we did see it sort of break down a bit, and it wasn't as comfortable, it seemed, when Matt Eberflus was here in terms of that relationship, as much as they tried to show it on Hard Knocks.
And the tension never gets really strong until there's failure involved. And it's going to be a long time before there's actual stakes and there is actual failure that costs people things. And so that's all to be expected, that the excitement is going to be there. By the way, I also did give Caleb Williams a quiz today. And just to stick with the theme, I threw open the doors to the press conference room and I puffed my chest out and I asked him about EPA, and I asked him what he knew about EPA. And
yes,
let's suffice it to say that his answer to that didn't lead me to believe that he's done a whole lot of studying on what EPA is. At the same time, I do think that he said, like, for him, the ability to hit that all too important metric that Ben Johnson holds up as his measure of quality quarterback play, it revolves around decisiveness. And so he sort of said, like, I have to be decisive, and being decisive makes other people play faster. And when other people are playing faster, opportunities open up for the offense to get humming a little bit. But that's going to be one that's going to be kind of an ongoing study for us over the next few months to figure out exactly what the Bears are doing to try to increase the metric that Ben Johnson has identified as the most important to winning and losing in the modern NFL.
Right. I thought it was wild that he'd ask you to repeat your question and then just didn't seem to want to give much about it. So I don't know if Ben Johnson hasn't hit him with that yet. I mean, that would be my guess. But that surprises the hell out of me, man.
I think it's just kind of the orientation process of like, he's got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
With this new regime and this new playbook and this new coach. And so that isn't at the forefront of his mind right now, nor should it be. I mean, look, when he talks about being under center, he's talking about memorizing footwork and understanding route concepts and even doing things as little as mastering the huddle and then getting up to the line of scrimmage and understanding what the cadence needs to look like. So there's a lot on Caleb's plate, and it's going to be pretty full for the next probably 4.5 months. And so he better get prepared for a full plate work here at Haugh.
The next time I get one of those opportunities that sometimes we get as beat reporters, just to pull Caleb Williams off to the side, there's one question I'm going to ask him, Dan. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but at the end of his press conference, Caleb Williams, unless I missed it, Caleb Williams, for the first time ever, I think, doing a Bears press conference, did not end the press conference with the Bears. I don't think he did. I don't think he did it.
New Caleb. I think you might be right on that. I didn't even pick up on that in real time until you just said it, but I don't think that was there. So maybe that's a 2024 thing that died.
I don't know if I like it or not. I'm gonna have a little talk with him.
Well, let me tell you this: that if you do go ask him that question, make sure you fling the doors open and do it with great flair.
It's good.
Panache. You got to have panache when you ask that question.
It's like high noon. We're going to meet and we're going to pace. And then we're like, okay, man, you got to do the Bears still. Okay, like, oh, man, that was last year. That was last year's stuff. You and I, as usual, really everybody enjoys what Jaylon Johnson has to say. Oh, yeah. So speaking of Ben Johnson, finally there is dissenting is strong. Dissenting opinion on Ben Johnson. It's generalizing because this is, Jaylon Johnson has had a lot of coaches since coming to the Bears. So let's listen to Jaylon Johnson on the Ben Johnson effect.
Are you the type of guy who gets fired up in April by a new coach? I know the answer to this, but I'm asking anyway.
I've been through it too many times, man. I'm going to get excited when we win in November and December and we change some things and get to the playoffs. That's when I'll be excited. But
as an extension of that, the next 5 months are going to be all about talk and hype and excitement and energy. How do you navigate that, knowing your mindset and not really being bought into all that stuff?
That don't got nothing to do with me. The only thing that has anything to do with me is the work that I put in, the work that we put in as a unit, and just taking steps in the right direction. Other than that, the talk, the hype and all that, I mean, hype don't win you no games. So, I mean, I've been here a minute. I've been through the hype, and we don't win no games. So, I mean, for me, if it's not about winning, quite honestly, I don't really care about it.
Jaylen, you have been through it too many times, as you mentioned. This is your third head coach. I'm not sure how many defensive coordinators off the top of my head. Does anything feel different with Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen this time? Anything new?
No, I mean, we're still trying to figure each other out. I mean, I just seen the guys in person for the first time yesterday. So, I mean, nothing feels different for me. At the end of the day, again, I'll see in camp to start. And, I mean, that's when the real ball will show up. And then really, I mean, throughout season, we'll see. 'Cause, I mean, things can start off rocky in the beginning, we figure it out, and things change throughout the back half or middle of the season, or we start off hot and then we shit the bed. So, I mean, it kind of just depends for me. At the end of the day, to me, it's about winning. And I feel like we go out there and we win on Sunday, I'll feel good about everybody.
I'm trying to think of Jaylon Johnson's defensive coordinators right now. Sean Desai, right? Chuck Pagano. Yeah. Chuck. He never had Vic, right? Like no, Vic left after 2018.
Chuck might have been gone by the time.
Chuck might have been gone.
He I think he started with Sean
Desai, right?
And then where did we flip over here?
And then we flipped over to Alan Williams.
Alan Williams, and then we flipped over beyond that, and then we had a Flus, and then we had
Eric
Washington.
Yeah.
Know
your defensive coordinators, kids. Know your defensive coordinators.
He has been through it here, and so this leads me to my off-season request, and it's that every single day that we do interviews between now and the first preseason game, Jaylon Johnson enters the media room last and gets to give us let's put this all in perspective. We ain't won a damn game yet. right? It's just the reality check that's necessary here. And I appreciate that he gives it because it takes us off the hook from having to do it so emphatically all the time. But I really mean that. Like at the end of every single session here, Jaylen should pop in the media room and say, if it ain't bringing us wins, I don't give a damn about it.
Everything you just heard right there, that's a bunch of BS.
Right, like, because you and I talked about like that there's going to be that temptation to chase every shiny lure. Oh, Ben Johnson's run the most creative practice that's ever been run at 1920 Football Drive. Oh, he just delivered the greatest first day message that's ever been delivered here. And Jaylen's just like, yeah, let's talk after we win some games in November and December. I'm all for that because our life would be better the more regularly that this football team would be able to win games in November and December.
Dan, is it not already predictable that when training camp starts and they're out there, the first words that we're going to say in our reports or whatever we tweet or X is going to be defense slightly ahead of the offense so far? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this will be the year that we don't say that because I think that every single year that I have covered the Bears and since 2018, defense is ahead of the offense. Defense is ahead of the offense. Is the defense making the offense better for Mitch Trubisky? I don't know. Defense last year, top 5 defense. Boy, they look good. They're really flustering the Bears offense.
The offense respond? Are they able to respond tomorrow? Will they bring the juice to go back at the trash talking defense that's winning the day?
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, there's so much redundancy to this. Jaylen has lived the redundancy, and there's a lot to it. I mean, like even today, and we'll hear a little bit more from the players here. You know, we're trying to get a sense of the tone that Ben Johnson set, and by all accounts, it was very energizing to the players here. But along with that, you have players acknowledging that the first day speech wasn't like Pacino on any given Sunday here, right? Like this was Ben Johnson telling them, in Darnell Wright's words, where not to park, what to do when it comes to getting medical treatment, right? Like the security protocol when you need help from the security team here. There were a lot of rules and regulations and guidelines and employee handbook manual stuff that the new head coach had to go over. And so it wasn't like there was this rousing speech that had these guys ready to play in the Super Bowl tomorrow. It's a head coach just getting his feet on the ground and trying to set a tone and trying to start with some strong messaging. And I think he hit those notes, but we just got to make sure and be very careful to keep it inside the right frame.
Let's go from what I would consider to be, honesty, humility, and realism from Jaylon Johnson to the other end of the spectrum. And that is, this is a team that did lose 10 in a row last year, a team that looks a whole lot better roster-wise with what they have done so far. Jaylon Johnson talked about winning a certain way this year, and I followed up with him on what exactly that meant.
What does that look like? What's the message there?
Would you rather win by 7 points or 70?
17.
So, I mean, for us, that's what
team's out.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you get in the fight, you just don't want to barely win the fight. You want to whoop the guy in front of you. So, I mean, that's what the mentality is for us. It's not just about barely winning or barely getting by, but dominating. And I think for us, that's the mindset that we need to have. And it's not just about trying to just get better and take the next step and just win more games than we won last year. It's about, to me, changing in your mentality and how you go about attacking things. And I feel like as a unit, if we can go in with that confidence, that mentality that we're going to go and blow the team out in front of us and that they can't mess with us, then I feel like a lot of times that willpower will get you there.
What I really love about that, Dan, is there have been so many games throughout the struggling years for the Bears where when they go up against a really good opponent, a lot of time, and I've said it, probably on the podcast, probably on the score, the Bears are looking for a way to not embarrass themselves. They don't necessarily have a way to win it. Can you lose by less than 14? Can you make it a close game? And that right there, what Jaylon Johnson said, is essentially the antithesis of the way the Bears have played in these bad years.
Jaylon Johnson would come running out of the Soldier Field tunnel last year, snapping a belt, right? Like it was his way of saying, I want to whip that ass. Like that's those are his direct words on why the belt became part of his pregame routine. And along with that, he wants to have coaches who set that tone, who get the players in a mindset of not just going out to win a football game, but do so in convincing fashion. It marries up with what Ben Johnson told Caleb Williams the day that he took the job, was that, look, it's all good to have full sportsmanship and the respect of your opponents and to treat them with that respect that they deserve. But during the 3 hours that you're playing against them, the goal should be to try to embarrass them. And so now you've got these messages being consistent and echoing and trying to get the players in a mindset where they go take care of business. Again, it's April messaging, and it's only going to count if they can back it up with strong field strong play on the field. But I do think you're getting some, I guess, tone-setting rhetoric that is resonating with the players. And you heard that from all four guys we heard from today, that there's at least a sense of what the bullseye is, right? And it's not just to win games, it's to do so convincingly.
And tone setting also for Jaylen Johnson is the fact that he's here. And I know that he started the press conference. Like, you guys are surprised to see me because what was it, 2 years ago? Was he? I don't know if he was here.
He's missed a lot of time in the spring to
take
care of personal stuff. And we'll see how consistent his attendance is.
Yeah.
But certainly he, you said it, like he was here for a purpose. And now you're hopeful that for a guy that was a team captain last year, that he sticks around and doesn't take off over the next 5-6 weeks as the Bears go through the majority of the voluntary portion of the offseason program.
Yeah, he was a captain, and he's just said a ton of things on record, off record last year, just about the way the team was going up. If you see something, say something. The bad practice habits, bad in-game habits, bad got to win. All I want to do is win. You can't then not show up to the voluntary program,
right?
If you're Jaylen Johnson. So I think that's why he's here. He knows
that's a strong point there that you make there, because he did say, if you see something, say something. It's like TSA goes Hallis Hall here, right? and so you've got to do that. And he said, look, like if you see it, call it out. And then he followed up by saying, sometimes it's not enough to just call it out. And I think that's a message that was learned by coaches and players alike in 2024, is that there has to be action taken when standards aren't being met, that there has to be consequences to that it just can't be, oh, hey, you're not doing it right, do better next time. There's got to be more teeth to it. And so I think that's part of the messaging of this new coaching staff as well. And, to Ben Johnson's credit, I think one of the things that he did really well was assemble an assistant coaching staff that has a wide variety of backgrounds to it, but also some enforcers. And he sort of said in Palm Beach last week that there's going to be guys like Antoine Randall, Eric Bieniemy, Al Harris, who are those kind of enforcers and those coaches whose voice you hear and whose voice, has an impact when players aren't meeting the standards. And so all that still needs to play out, but I think the Bears are at least aligning the pieces in a way that makes a lot of sense.
I thought Tremaine Edmonds said something really interesting. I understand, like Tremaine Edmonds is the most positive guy. He's kind of a hype man. Sometimes you got to discern the things that are real and are just sort of hype from Tremaine Edmonds. But he was asked about the new defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, and it crescendoed to an interesting place.
Yeah, I think it was very direct. Understanding where we at as a football team, understanding, how we're going to get there. You know what I mean? Obviously, the message is the message, like we want to win now. And I think saying that and being blunt with it is what we needed to hear, because that's our mindset going into it, especially the guys that's been here. Like, we want to win, and we got the pieces to win. And I think knowing that the coaches understand that coming in, it's not like we're going to take the back seat. It's like, nah, like this is what we got. Now let's put the plan into action. So it's all about the work, you know what I mean? I can tell, just by his energy, his passion, the way he communicated his words, you know what I mean? The tone in which he communicated is all geared towards, now, like, we want this to happen right now. You know what I mean? It don't have to, like, we're not waiting for anything. Like, let's get this thing, let's hit the ground running. And that's what the message is. And, you know what I mean? That's what we received as players. And more than all, like, that's what I receive as a player. And, it brings excitement because, we all excited, you know what I mean? And not just that, but it's all about belief. You know what I mean? Belief that we can win now, belief that, we could be special right now.
Tremaine Edmonds is heading into his third year with the Bears. And remember, when he was in Buffalo, he was there for some lean years before the Bills started to win. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with the Bears, but the collective today, Dan, was that's enough of that crap. That's enough of these, 2 10-game losing streaks in 3 years. For the guys that have been around for a while, they're like, no more excuses, no more of that crap. Let's get out there and do it and show it and win by a lot, as these guys are saying.
The word Tremaine used in that last clip that resonated with me was belief, because I think that's what the earliest stages of this coaching staff are all about. It's instilling the belief that we're not just talking about winning, we're talking about winning now, and we're talking about doing so very realistically and legitimately. That gets guys to sit up. It gets everybody a little bit straighter and says, okay, we're not walking into this like, oh, it's a new regime, it's a new era, things are going to take time to figure out. We've got to wait till we get through May to start to put the pieces together, and then maybe if all falls right in training camp, we can think about being competitive. They're talking about winning and winning now, and that's a very, very demanding message that comes from the top. And it marries up with what I'm talking about with the assembly of Ben's coaching staff, because I think Dennis Allen has some of that demanding nature to him, and he has that passion and that competitive fire that's going to resonate with guys on that side of the ball. And so, like, when we're going to spend a lot of time over the next 5 months talking about Ben, talking about Caleb, talking about Ben and Caleb. Well, this defense has a chance to be a tone-setting unit on this football team again, and it starts with how Dennis Allen installs his system and infuses it with belief, right? Infuses that side of the ball with belief. And Tremaine Edmonds certainly had his ears perk up here the last couple of days trying to get that belief over the hump for the group.
Yeah, and you're going to have Andrew Billings back, I assume. You're going to have Daquan Brisker. Hopefully all goes well when he returns, and all signs point to go for him. So you are going to have, hopefully, at least at the beginning, a healthier version of the Bears defense, and maybe they get back to being what, they had some great moments under Matt Eberflus. Let's see if they can get back to that point. A few notes here from my side before I give you the stage for any closing comments here, Dan. Yeah. We are being told that Jaylon Johnson did have Chuck Pagano as the defensive coordinator in his rookie year. 2020 was Chuck's final year with the Bears. So then it was Dr. Sean Desai after that, and then Alan Williams, and then Eric Washington, and now Dennis Allen. I just wanted to see if I could do it, and I did it right there.
And a little bit of an interlude that one year when Alan Williams got dismissed or left, resigned. Let me be very accurate. He resigned. And that Matt Eberflus had to be the defensive coordinator and play caller. So that's like 6 guys that Jalen's had in his career already, and Dennis Allen being the 6th. It's a lot. It's a lot to sort through.
It really is. Yeah, it's tough. And maybe we'll, in a lighter moment, maybe you and I can quiz Jaylon Johnson on those defensive coordinators. I'm sure he remembers well.
Quiz, though, what does any quiz start with, Grote? You got to thrust the doors open.
Oh, thrust the doors open.
Enter the room with panache and ask the quiz. Who are the coordinators you played for?
The next time the media is allowed here at Haugh Hall, where Dan and I are right at this very moment, next time we'll be allowed in the building is next Thursday, not this Thursday. I know there's a little bit of confusion, but that we are not back till next Thursday, although the Bears will be active. And at that time, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to get to speak to all the assistant coaches that you've been hearing about, like the Eric Bieniemys of the world, Dan Rauscher, the offensive line coach. So I think that there's going to be a lot of value when we get to talk to those guys. Dan, anything from your side, my friend?
That is a divide and conquer homework assignment for you and I that day. I believe that is also the same day that we're doing our Take the North in studio at the Performance Center down there downtown. Right. And so, boy, we're going to be able to marry up some of that audio that we collect that afternoon and bring it in with some of these new assistants that we get to hear from for the first time, and the coordinators, Dennis Allen being one of them.
Yeah,
we just talked about. So that's going to be fun for us to start to plant some seeds with those guys and see what they're all about.
Amen. And Studs, Adam Studzinski, our producer, should we give out the information for the live event? Are we packed? Are we sold out? What's going on there? Do we need to put it out there, or are we set?
Oh, let's keep promoting it. Keep promoting it. Keep putting it out there.
And it is what? 670thescore.com/what?
670thescore.com/contest. And I'll get the exact info pulled up so we don't lead anyone in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Okay. No, we are. Well, I mean, it's coming right up. We've been planning this thing for a long time, man. But this is going to be fun. I've been to a few of the shows on the Score in the Performance Update studio and some of the music acts, and it's a great little venue, I'll call it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Grote, if you play your cards right next Thursday, perhaps you can get one of these new assistants to jump in the car with you in the carpool from Haugh Hall down to the Performance Studio, and maybe they can just join us on stage. I mean, it's just a challenge. It's not necessarily a request. It's a challenge.
Yeah, I think that would be big for them. You know what I mean? A chance to be on Take the North. I mean, this is part of the reason Declan Doyle took the job.
I mean, hey, if any of them happen to live downtown, it's just a free ride home.
That's true. I would get Eric Bieniemy, but I've been told he's a bad interview.
What up, Bob?
Try it anyway.
Just a rim shot.
just to be clear, the live show is April 17th on the Score from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Blue Cross Blue Shield Performance Stage, right down the hall from where I'm at right now. And if you want to be part of the audience, yes, you can go to 670thescore.com/contest to enter for your chance to win your way in.
We'll all be there, and Studs will even be giving tours of the score. People that want to see the score will have him wander down there.
Oh, okay. I'll prepare my guided. I'll prepare the full thing.
Okay. I'll
show them the rack room that's named after our now retired engineer. I'll show them Terry Boer's Way, the whole thing,
man.
Terry Boer's Way,
very busy.
Yeah, the Greg Davis engineering room, the whole thing. They'll get the full tour.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we got that going down, and that is coming up soon. We thank everybody for listening to episode 323 here of the Take the North podcast for Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune and big-time contributor to The Score. For Adam Studzinski, our executive producer, I am Mark Grote. Thank you for listening to and watching the Take the North podcast.
Great talk. See you out there.